Like we live. Good morning, Al Ingalls here, pressure-free.com. Thursday night, tomorrow night, doing a couple things Thursday. Tomorrow, I'm speaking to the Junior Chamber of Commerce for one of their meetings. And tomorrow night after that, I'm giving a free online training. I'm not sure if I'll push it through Facebook here, so I'll put the link below so you can sign in. And if you sign in, there'll be question and answer time. We can be interacting. So I highly recommend that you do that so that you can get the most benefit out of it. But I decided to do this training because I had a conversation with someone who worked with me back, gosh, they first were introduced to pressure free, I think, in 2017. And so that's quite a long time ago when you think about it, 2017, 9 years. And one of the things that they have noticed is that if you keep using the pressure-free tools, but then you even start to go deeper, there's these times when things like, you're moving along and then there's like a leap. If my first workbook was called Quantum Leap because it's like a leap where suddenly there's a huge realization of maybe a hidden stressor that you had, or there's a huge understanding that some of the words we use, the patterns we have, are causing us to trigger the stress response. And we just didn't see it before. So this training on Thursday, I'm going to go a little deeper on what I've noticed with that. And that then you can have even a different breakthrough. I remember one of my clients, we worked together for 18 months. Most of my clients do a 3-month program. At the end of that, we'll just assess, do we want to do more work together? Sometimes my leadership type clients, my executives, my high achieving professionals, they want more. Uh, I have all this background as an executive. I have all this background with my MBA, so I can take things in a lot of different directions for them. So it just kind of depends on the person. But this person went 18 months, and their real breakthrough came about the 9-month mark. They went to their physician, a serious chronic disease they'd had their whole adult life was in remission. There was it was a huge celebration. It was like, is this real? Now to sustain it. So sometimes there's breakthroughs, but then we can fall back into old patterns. I've seen that happen. I've felt it happen for myself. And so noticing that is also kind of a critical element to what it is you desire. Let's talk about that for a moment. So the first step of pressure free are targets. So if you come on tomorrow night or if you book a call with me, one of the things I'm going to ask you about is what are you aiming for? What is a vision that you have? What is it that needs to shift or change? And sometimes for people, it's really hard to identify that. And I think that's because when we're in the stress response and we're chronically in it, the areas of our brain for creativity, for visioning, for future pacing are shut down somewhat. There was a really great study by a professor at Stanford on entrepreneurs and their inability to plan, their inability to create future strategies, and it all came down to whether or not they were stressed, whether or not they were triggering the stress response, is what I would say. And so that's the science with all of that is fascinating to me because if we can't envision the future, if we can't make any plans, and sometimes people will say that to me, like, Al, I can't even think about what's going to come next. I'm so feeling trapped or stuck, or I just can't do it. And so then I'll ask, what needs to shift or change? Like, what's happening now? Don't tell me what's happening now because I want to know what you want first. So then they'll think for a moment and they'll go, I want to be healthier. I want to be happier. I want to wake up with energy. These are just some of the things that I've heard people tell me. Um, I want to be more composed with my family. I want to be seen for the skills and talents I have at work. So in other words, they want to be seen and affirmed for what they can do. Um, I want to be less hormonal. I had somebody say that. Let me see what else. I want my heart to be healthy. I want my gut to be healthy. I want my brain to be free of pain. So we're trying to move it even out of pain and into, I want my brain to be healthy, free. People come to me and they have serious migraines, headaches, jaw tension. And so, what is it that you're aiming for? What would you like to see change or shift? That is really the first step of pressure free. And sometimes someone will come on, book a call with me, and they know exactly what they want. I want a promotion at work. I want this relationship to be better. Like they're very clear. But a lot of people, it's kind of tough. So if it's tough for you, I understand. It's like how can we even envision the future when we have a lot of chaos going on, a lot of trauma going on? It's hard. We're just surviving. I remember early in my business is 16 years old this month. This is my celebration month for pressure free. Um, I was just scraping by. Like it was tough. And I was talking to, he was a former attorney for the Kellogg Company and really good friend. And I was sharing with him, what I was working on. And he said, well, can you breathe? I go, I can breathe. He goes, then just keep that nose just above the waterline and you're going to be fine. Keep swimming. You'll hear people say, keep swimming, right? But the nose has to be above the waterline so you can breathe. But I love that now. When I hadn't thought about that in years, but when that head is up, when your head is above the water, when you're looking out at the horizon, that actually helps you stay pressure free because you'll feel less anxious, less depressed if the head drops. Then that's when other emotions can come in. That's why I think that being on phones is being on laptops low is one of the reasons for all this anxiety today versus the content. I think it's that people need to get their head up. You see it when people are just walking around. Is their head down? Is their head up? And the head's been going down for a long time, pre-phone, by the way, because if you were like in books all the time, you would have been all curled up with a book and your head was in that position. So it's like we've traded books and newspapers to, though newspapers you would usually hold up in front of you, but not always. Sometimes you'd fold it up and have it down on the table. So that down position of the head is something that's been going on for a while. But I think it's been exacerbated. So get your head up, look out to the horizon. Think about it. We were outdoor people until about 250 years ago or so, 200 years ago. When the Industrial Revolution came, we started creating factories, putting people in factories. Now we're becoming indoor people, like all day. But prior to that, we were outside a lot. No matter what the climate was, we were outside. Our houses were so tiny and filled with smoke, we would want to be outside in the winter. And we're hunting and trapping and gathering things. That's just how we lived. Chopping wood, taking care of our animals, hunkering in for the winter, all the things we'd have to do. So we were outdoor people. And so we were constantly head up and looking out at the horizon and walking long places. And then we just became indoor people. I had an executive who had an attached garage to their house, left the house around 6, drove to the parking garage for their business, parked, walked into the office, and didn't get out till like 7 or 8. Got in the car, now it's dark, never saw the light of day, day after day after day, working super long hours. And they weren't outside. And so being outside at least for 20 minutes, right? Get some sun on your face. Get out there and breathe fresh air. Move and breathe fresh air is one of my body tools. Doesn't matter what you're doing. You could be hiking, skating, biking, running, playing with your kids, playing with your grandkids. It doesn't matter what you're doing, but can you do it outside instead of inside? That's really what I encourage because we don't breathe enough fresh air and we don't get outside as much as we used to as humans. Another thing we used to do more was sing, sing, sing to your children, your grandchildren, um, sing to your grandparents. Go in a nursing home and sing. My mother used to take us all the time to nursing homes and play our violins and sing and be friends with the people in the nursing homes. And at the mother-daughter banquet at our church, we never sat with our own mother. She always parceled us out to older women who didn't have family nearby. So I was with Beulah Twitchell and Hildegard Hines. Those names will always be a part of my life. They were in their 80s and 90s. So, um, so yeah, so this idea of singing, what is it that people did years ago that they don't do now? What is causing all this incredible stress? Um, what are the hidden things? That's what we're going to work on tomorrow night. I invite you to come. I'll put the link below. It's also right on my Facebook page, um, and it's also on my LinkedIn page. So if you're looking to try and figure out why you need a mouth guard, why are you grinding all night, why you have anything going on head-wise, heart-wise, gut-wise, anything chronic, so any sort of mental or physical chronic issue is probably a clue that you've got some secret stressors working on you, especially if you feel like I got my stress covered. I love those clients, by the way. I also love the clients who are really, really skeptical that pressure free can help them. Just share briefly, I had a client, an executive who of a nonprofit, who came to me and said, I've heard about you, but I don't think you can help me because my life is so full of stress, like on every level, full of stress. And I just loved that skepticism because it meant she was sharing how she felt right away. And so then I was free to really share with her deeply on the things that were happening and what she was experiencing physically and mentally to make help the breakthrough happen. And oh my gosh, it's beautiful work. So I love skeptics. Um, I love it when people take action. So if you're like, wow, I'm tired of the hidden stressors, like let's lift up the hood. What's really going on? Maybe on the outside you look super cool, confident, composed, but inside, as one of my clients said, it was a 24/7 controlled burn. Like a lot of heart issues, secretly didn't tell anybody except the physician knew. Like never told his family about his situations. This is just stuff that happens. Um, it's like I think we have a real most of my clients, I would say, and me too, which is why they're attracted to me, have a perfectionist streak. And so we don't even want to admit that some of these little chronic things are happening to us. So we're going to lift up the hood. We're going to get into secret stressors, and I invite you to join me. It will be it'll, it'll be what it is. Whoever's in the room, it's about who's in the room. So I'm excited to share this with you, and of course, I wish you a great pressure-free day. Bye.